Hello, everybody. Big Toe Mando here. Just doing a impromptu chill stream slash painting stream. Finishing up a model or the major paint work on a model I picked up over the weekend. In case any of you are interested, I am a fairly big fan of Warhammer 40k and its spin-off series, the Horus Heresy. And tonight I am doing some finishing work on one of these big ugly fornicators, a Deredeo pattern dreadnought. Now, the way this is engineered, a lot of it is going to be able to be fairly modular once I'm done. So just a few areas have to be glued on, but I will be able to change out weapon systems as I deem appropriate between games. Now, I've never done a stream of this particular nature before, so please forgive the lighting and the sound quality. It may or may not be all that great. While working on this, I will give my thoughts on, or be giving some of my thoughts on different elements of the 40k universe and the Horus Heresy specifically, as well as talking a little bit about the Legion that this particular model is being painted up for, which is the 9th Legion Blood Angels. My personal favorite because of their Primarch Sanguinius. Before I jump into a huge amount of detail on that, I got into Warhammer 40,000 when I was stationed in Germany. And at the time, the only game I was really all that into was the old Battletech game. Giant stompy robots going and shooting other giant stompy robots is the best way to sum it up. But once you got more than about 12 models per side, that particular game bogged down very badly. Warhammer 40k and its spin-off game, Heresy, is designed to have multiple dozens of models per side. And I've actually played games where you have one player that could have upwards of 100 miniatures on the board at any given time. And some players go and fully paint their models the way I generally try to do. Other players just glue them together and call it good. Personally, I prefer playing against people that have fully painted models, mainly because I go to the effort to paint my stuff. I want it to look good, and I want the tabletop events to be as much of a cinematic event as possible, which means painted models and as much of it as possible being able to move around. There's just something I think is so very cool when you're playing these games about having the turret of your tank twist to face the target that you're shooting at. So that way it gives kind of a movie feel to the gameplay. But continuing or getting back on the main, ish topic, since there really isn't a topic tonight. The piece I am currently working on is called a Deredeo pattern dreadnought, as you saw from the package. This particular one is equipped equipped out of the box in such a way where it can have either a pair of big plasma cannon type weapons, one on each arm, or a quad mount of what are known as autocannons. These things are essentially upsized versions of, say, the 25 millimeter Bushmaster that is on the LAV 25 and similar weapons platforms. But this particular model is designed to be a long-range fire support piece. So the whole idea is you plant it somewhere that you don't want your opponents getting anywhere near, and you just use it to start laying down fire until either they decide to go somewhere else, or there's nothing for it to shoot at and you have to move it to a new location. The plasma weapon and autocannons are essentially direct fire batteries. So just for those of us that have been in the military, it's just the same concept as putting a observation point post in a location and telling them you don't let anything come through here without taking a few pot shots at them. Now, interesting thing with the 40K universe, the dreadnoughts, like the one that I'm currently working on that you can't see because I have the camera poorly oriented. I'm sorry if I do more of these paint streams, I will get better about that. Like I started to say, the dreadnoughts used by the Space Marines in Warhammer 40K are essentially piloted by Marines who have been rendered incapable of participating in any further combat operations without significant augmentation. E.g., they're essentially dead and put into a stasis type casket and then hardwired into the armored chassis of these vehicles. The Space Marines themselves have a quasi motto that only in death does duty end. And if you're somebody who's seen as a good enough warrior to be granted the honor of being in a dreadnought, that death can be staved off for many thousands of years. There are dreadnoughts in some of the current chapters that, according to the fiction, were actually involved in the Horus Heresy on the Loyalist side. There's a few Chaos Marines, aka the traitors, who also have existed since then. However, whereas the Loyalist legions treated internment into a dreadnought as an honor and something that only their greatest could ever hope to achieve, the traitor dreadnoughts are more of a kind of torture device. They're something that you would not want to be put into. In fact, there are stories where the Chaos Dreadnought equivalents are essentially completely insane by the time they get released into a combat zone. Whereas normal Space Marine dreadnoughts, they basically are allowed to go to sleep, in effect, until they are needed. And they are generally only woken up for the most intense of battlefields. In the case of the chapter that I am, or the Legion that I'm currently working on, the Blood Angels, their chapter dreadnoughts are often given a position of great honor and importance within the chapter itself. Unlike some of the other chapters, they are occasionally woken up for non-combat situations, or just to let the pilot, quote unquote, get out and stretch his legs. In the lore, every Blood Angel is encouraged to not only hone their skills as a warrior, but also hone their skills in some form of fine art. Unlike many of their brethren chapters and legions, there are Blood Angels that are highly talented sculptors and painters, a few poets, and there's at least one dreadnought who is known to be a sculptor as well. How that would work with the giant claws that those things were equipped with, I have no earthly idea, but hey, it sounds cool. So, something to always bear in mind with 40K, rule of cool always trumps whether or not it could actually work. But the 9th Legion, in addition, which is the Blood Angels, in addition to having a lot of artists in their ranks, also has a practical reason for having to actually search for these various art forms and master them. They have ridiculously high anger management problems. Before a battle, there are many Blood Angels who start to succumb to a form of psychosis known as the Black Rage, where these guys will slowly start to get so angry, or correction, the Red Thirst, where these guys will slowly start to get so battle maddened that there's a chance that they will completely lose control. In the period of time after the Horus Heresy setting, they would eventually fall into the Black Rage that I mentioned earlier, where they literally see the last moments of their Primarch being played out as though they were living it. And everything that they see around them is a personification of their Primarch's last moments in battle. Hey, Outlaw.
Hey, man, what's up? Hold on, let me change my picture here.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Everybody else on?
Nope, it's just you and me so far. It's an impromptu chill stream / painting stream, so I fully expect no one else to show up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was bored, didn't really feel like doing any more Zelda for tonight, and had this Deradeo that I'm currently painting on sitting on the table, and was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and do a partial paint stream and just chit chat, see if anyone else wants to come on and shoot the fecal matter.
Nice.
So, what have you been up to the last few days?
The usual, just recording videos and that sort of thing. Trying to figure out what direction to take the channel in. I'm kind of getting bored of doing the same old copy paste stuff.
Yeah, I'll be blunt with you. I was a hair's breadth away this evening of throwing some of the footage from my dash cam together in a little 10-minute video and just giving some random holiday thoughts. I'll probably end up doing that sometime later this week, but I honestly forgot to grab the right cable out of the car.
Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. I'm going to be doing a today Monday.
Yeah, today's Monday.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a Thanksgiving stream.
Oh, cool.
So, my car's a store home.
Yeah, and just be careful with the language because we are live on YouTube at the moment.
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing a Thanksgiving stream, giving guys the opportunity to call in and let us know what they're thankful for.
Cool.
Kind of just a lot of these guys probably, if they don't have families to celebrate with, kind of throw a Thanksgiving stream for everybody to kind of get together.
Yeah, I'm kind of debating on that little 10-minute thing that I was thinking about doing today. Doing a recording of that on Thanksgiving itself and uploading it just to give folks something to think about.
Sweet.
But that's still over or almost a week away, so plenty of time to decide how to attack it.
Yep.
So did you do anything interesting this weekend, or just kind of same old, same old?
Yeah, kind of the same routine. Nothing really happened,
It's amazing how easily we fall into the same habits, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So that's why I'm trying to kind of figure out a little different direction to go with the channel than just the same old, here's a video, watch it. Here's another video, watch it.
Yeah, I think the problem is getting interactivity on these streams.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can do with just live stream chat reactions or responding to viewers in chats as well.
Right.
And that's one thing I definitely want to try to encourage at some point, getting some kind of interactivity going. Oh no, did I lose you?
No, I'm still here.
Okay. Well, since you've expressed a little bit of interest in 40K, you want to know a little bit about the in-lore or in-universe history of the piece that I'm actually working on?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, this is, as I mentioned earlier, before you jumped on, this
Yeah.
is what's known as a Garradeo pattern dreadnought,
Yeah.
used by the Legiones Astartes, aka
Mhm.
Space Marines. Um, this particular model is a direct fire. It's essentially a walking artillery piece,
Yeah.
and the kit that they currently released
Hmm.
has a ginormous MLRS type battery that you can stick on the back of this vehicle,
Hmm.
or a quad mount of huge auto cannons, or a pair of plasma, well, basically supersized plasma cannons, as
Nice.
well as either a twin-linked heavy bolt gun, basically a heavier machine gun version of the Mark 19,
Hmm.
or a heavy flamer.
Ooh.
Since since this thing lacks much in the way of close combat, I think my default's going to be the twin-linked heavy flamers.
I love it.
Hey, get close enough to a blood angel, he'll either stab you or cook you.
Hell yeah. I like that. I'm a
And
pyromaniac.
honestly, well, the Blood Angels chapter and
Hmm.
Legion actually resonates with me quite a bit because they have some incredible anger management issues. Okay, you've expressed interest in the lore before, so I'll go ahead and give you a quick and dirty on the Blood Angels. They are what's they are one of what's known as the first founding chapters, which means that
Hmm.
they were one of the original 20 Space Marine legions.
Ooh.
Now, after or before their Primarch Sanguinius was located, they were also referred to as the Revenants, because what
Hmm.
they would have the bad habit of doing after battle is go around and essentially cannibalizing what they considered to be worthy foes.
Hmm.
Because during the process of becoming a Space Marine, you're implanted with, I think it's 20 at the time, well, at least at the time of the Great, or at least at the time of the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy, it was 20 specialized organs
Hmm.
that essentially turn you from being a normal human being to a super soldier. Think
Ooh.
Master Chief with a lot less self control.
Yeah.
And one of these organs, I can never remember the name nor pronounce it properly, um, essentially gives you the capability of eating the flesh of your fallen enemies and absorbing their knowledge. How that works, I don't know. I don't know of any physiological way that that could work, but it's cool lore.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, Space Marines themselves actually have some really interesting, really overpowered elements that any other sci-fi universe, if you were to encounter these guys,
Hmm.
they would utterly shred whatever it is that they're fighting against. For example, a Space Marine does not need to sleep.
Yeah.
There's a
Not,
brain implant where essentially half of their brain is turned off at any given time. And they can consciously control what half is on and what half is off.
now that's neat.
So you can essentially have a Space Marine that's been awake for over a month.
Holy shit.
They have an organ that essentially allows them to spit a type of acid very similar to a King Cobra or the creatures from the Alien franchise. Although don't tell any Space Marines I said that, they would want to burn me as being a filthy, nasty, traitorous Xenos.
Sounds like it'd be a useful little skill to have.
Oh, there's actually a couple of the novels where
Yeah.
somebody has made the mistake of chaining up a Space Marine
Yeah.
after stripping him of most of his power armor.
Hmm.
And what he does is, when no one's around, he just hawks a loogie onto the manacles that's holding him and lets the spit do the rest. Once it weakens enough, snap.
Sweet.
Yeah. We could not capture a space marine using our modern technology. Well, okay, let me rephrase. We could capture him, but we couldn't hold him using our modern technology. You got to remember, these guys, after they've undergone all their augmentations, are somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
And one of the best descriptions I've ever seen of a space marine in the novels is they're essentially brainwashed psychopaths.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because the thing is with these guys, they are hyper religious, but not religious in necessarily the sense of they worship the emperor. They are fanatically loyal to the emperor, but they don't see him necessarily as a god, with the possible exception of the Black Templars, but they're a special kind of crazy. But the Blood Angels, my chapter in Legion of Choice, which is what I'm currently working on.
Yeah.
To control their anger issues, every one of them is encouraged to develop some kind of skill with some form of art. You have Blood Angels who are talented sculptors, painters, poets. If it's a type of fine art and you can name it, there's probably a Blood Angel who's at least tried it. Now, whether he's got any skill in it, that's up to his peers. And you notice I'm specifically saying his for all of this.
Yeah, I noticed that.
There are no female space marines.
Ooh.
Their gene seed cannot take to the female chromosomes. And that is actually officially in the lore from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Essentially, when somebody becomes a space marine, they become a quasi-clone of the Primarch that they're based off of. And some of the chapters actually used to take it a step further. There's a formation known as the Alpha Legion that, when they were still officially loyalist, about a third of their legion actually surgically or had themselves surgically changed so their faces resembled that of their Primarch.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you didn't know if you were talking to a member of the Alpha Legion and you actually knew you were talking to a member of the Alpha Legion, they would frequently refer to themselves by their Primarch's name.
Oh, damn.
So, well, their whole thing was misdirection and infiltration.
Yeah.
So, if you were to run across an Alpha Legionary, he would probably be introducing himself as Alfarius, which is the name of the Primarch, or at least part of the Primarch. They're a weird one. Even by 40 standards, they're weird. Back to the Blood Angels, their Primarch is literally an angel. The Primarch Sanguinius was, first of all, I need to rewind. During what was known as the Unification Wars on Earth, the individual who would become known as the Emperor was doing, in addition to conquest of pretty much the entire planet, he was doing various scientific experimentations to create either super soldiers or new weapon systems that his soldiers could utilize. This was before he made contact with Mars and had access to people who actually knew how to use technologies that most of us would look at and go, yeah, I'm not crazy enough to try that. And one of those things he was doing was a lot of genetic engineering, using his own genetic makeup as the baseline.
Right.
He created 20 basically sons. These would eventually become known as the Primarchs. At some point during the development of the Primarchs, the forces of chaos infiltrated the lab where he was working and
Mm-hmm.
yeeted all 20 of these infants in their gestation pods all throughout the galaxy.
Cool.
Now, the Primarch that would eventually become known as Sanguinius
Mm-hmm.
landed on an irradiated hellscape of a moon known as Bale.
Bale. Okay.
Now, the infant was found, or infant in his pod was found by a, a group of nomads known as the Tribe of the Pure Blood.
Mm-hmm.
And something you gotta know about Bale, it was overrun by mutants.
By mutants. Got it.
Mhm. These were either radiation scarred or chemical scarred mutants left over from what was known as the Age of Strife and the Dark Age of Technology.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they found the infant Primarch, and, well, he had vestigial wings.
Oh, nice.
Well, some of the folks see this and think, mutant, kill. Where others were like, no, it's a baby. We don't need to kill it just yet. Let's see what happens. Well, the cooler heads prevailed, and Sanguinius was allowed to grow up. As he grew, those vestigial wings became full-on angel wings.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
there is artwork out there of Sanguinius where he looks straight up like a sci-fi version of the Archangel Michael in the more popular depictions.
Yeah.
Well, after he came of age, which was since he was a Primarch, that was probably about the time he was 5, because the kid grew at an incredibly accelerated rate. He managed to lead members of his tribe in eliminating most, if not all, of the mutants that were present in his part of the planet.
Hmm.
Then he led them to conquering the rest of the planet. Shortly after this conquest, his world was visited by the Emperor, who had somehow heard rumors of this angel-winged entity who was basically kicking butt and taking names in a way that should not have been possible. And he was like, I think that's one of mine.
Huh.
Well, when Sanguinius realized the Emperor was present, he was giving a speech, took off, flew directly to the Emperor, kneeled before him, and the story goes that he wept 3 tears of blood and swore fealty to the Emperor right then and there.
Nice.
One of Sanguinius's many gifts and curses was what was known as a psyker, meaning he had certain psychic capabilities. In particular, he had the gift of foresight.
Hmm.
So this guy could tell the future. Usually, he would be able to identify the more positive outlooks and try to direct things to get to that positive outlook.
Yeah.
Every now and again, he would see something incredibly dark and hideous that he knew he could not defeat.
That's
Well,
not.
once the
Go ahead.
Emperor was certain that Sanguinius was one of his, which was pretty bloody quick, he gave Sanguinius command of the 9th Legion Space Marines, who
Yeah.
became renamed from the Revenants to the Blood Angels. And they quickly became one of the foremost legions in the Great Crusade.
Cool.
If you had a fortress you wanted annihilated, you would call on the Imperial Fists or the Iron Warriors, because those guys were siege experts. If you wanted a culture that was roughly equivalent to where we are, brought to heel, you would call in the Ninth. Because Sanguinius would use his powers of foresight to identify where the adversary would be the strongest, and then hit them in locations that they weren't expecting to be hit from.
That's actually pretty brilliant.
Yeah. And it's one of these things where he almost had 100% accuracy in his visions. Obviously, if you've ever seen Star Wars, you'll know this line, since the future is always in motion.
Yep.
He wasn't always 100% correct, and there were occasionally things that would slip through his net. His brother, the eventual War Master Horus, figured this out, and because Horus wanted Sanguinius to either be brought to his side during the betrayal known as the Horus Heresy, or just be destroyed altogether, after finding out about the flaw that would eventually become known as the Black Rage, he planted a trap for the Blood Angels and sent them to a cluster off or well outside of the intended engagement area for the heresy.
Yeah.
Goal of either completely annihilating the Legion or turning him to chaos. Or turning them to chaos, I should say. Well, Horus failed. And after a few misadventures with Robert Gilliman and Lionel Johnson, Sanguinius eventually made it back to Terra with a major portion of his legion and engaged in the defense of the Imperial Palace when Horus eventually got there and started trying to lay siege to the place.
Cool.
Where early on in the siege, one of the more interesting events, at least in my opinion, occurred between Sanguinius and one of his other Primarch brothers, the leader of the White Scars, when he was asked, when Jagatai Khan, the Primarch of the White Scars, asked him, will it be better if I stay or if I sally forth and take the fight to the traitor? And Sanguinius essentially closes his eyes and goes, either way, there will be much death, but if you go forward, the chances of victory will be increased.
Ooh.
So Jagatai rallies his forces, gets on his bike, and they go Mad Max style right into one of the Chaos Legions, tying them up long enough to make sure that more Imperial reinforcements could arrive before more Chaos reinforcements could arrive.
Nice. I like it.
Now, Sanguinius has a very tragic end, unfortunately, but it's also a necessary end. When Horus realized that the Imperial forces were going to arrive before the bulk of his remaining forces were, he brought his flagship, a massive starship known as the Spirit of Vengeance, into incredibly close orbit over the Emperor's palace on Terra, and he dropped his shields, essentially challenging his father to come up and face him mano a mano. Well, the Emperor, a few dozen, maybe 100 of his closest bodyguards, Sanguinius, and probably a couple companies of his Blood Angels, and a few others teleported up onto the Vengeful Spirit, fully intending to take the fight to Horus directly. Now, Sanguinius knew that if he went to that ship, he was going to die. During the teleport, the Emperor and his forces got separated and shotgunned all across the Vengeful Spirit. And when the Emperor finally made contact with Sanguinius again, he was being cast down the stairs of the command deck of the Vengeful Spirit by his traitor brother, Horus. Deader than a doornail. When Sanguinius was killed, all of his sons still on Terra went into an early form of the Black Rage and went forth in a crimson tide, sweeping traitors in front of them. One of the things with Space Marines is they are not supposed to know fear. He had the most berserk member, or his legion had the most berserk members of the traitors running in abject terror.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah. When you have guys that are so genetically engineered that they are not supposed to feel fear and they're like, F this, I'm out.
That's awesome.
And over the next 10,000 years of the Warhammer 40k timeline, yeah, there'd be a few times where Blood Angels would lose control, turn to chaos, all that other fun, happy nonsense. But for the most part, the Ninth Legion and its successors have stayed loyal. There have been very few that have gone traitor. Hey, Tommy, welcome to the party.
What's up, brother?
You know, same old crazy shit.
Yeah, there's no theme to tonight's stream. It's just a chill/painting stream. So anything you want to chat about that's YouTube friendly, fair game.
Oh yeah. Hang on a second here. I'm still trying to fix my shit.
Yeah, I was just telling Outlaw about a very truncated history of my preferred Legion and chapter for the Warhammer 40,000 tabletop game.
There we go. Now I got it fixed. Sorry, I had an echo going because I had the stream playing too.
Hey, it happens, man.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm doing cooking shit, so I killed the cam. But yeah, that's for you, Outlaw.
Hold on, let me.
Is that a cat trying to claw its way out of a toilet?
Nope.
Let's
That
bring
is-
you up to the screen.
That is toilet squirrel.
Oh my goodness. Oh, things are always so swirly when you guys get on a stream together. You know that?
Well, I'd forgot about that picture that I had. Yeah, that's an old picture too. I think that's like probably 10, 15 years old.
Toilet squirrel.
Toilet squirrel, that's what it's named.
So
But no,
Tommy,
continue on with your 40 or 40K.
Well, I was actually going to ask you what you've been up to the last several days.
Well, I was in on the part of the supporter stream. I didn't watch all of it. No, I worked Saturday. Didn't get shit done that I wanted to get done because I was stuck with other stupid crap. Same thing happened today. Boss is on PTO, so I'm freaking doing his job too. You know, it's just been frustrating a little bit. We're under the gun right now with some delivery shit, and just I'm not getting done what I need to get done. And I got new people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it is fun stuff, guys.
So not only do you have the pressure of trying to get everything done on time and under budget, you also have to train up new people who probably don't know the difference between a hand spanner and a hammer.
Well, luckily the last couple of new guys that we got haven't been too bad. They actually are picking it up really quick. We got, in fact, I might have to turn Jamie into one of us.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's a young, pudgy little dude that likes to read comic books, graphic comic books.
Oh, there you go.
So I don't know if he has a girlfriend or anything. Don't care. But he is as geeky as I am with the electrical stuff from as far as I can tell. He just doesn't have the experience I do.
So essentially, he's a potential candidate to join our little community.
Yeah. And well, by the books that he's reading, I think he might be a 40K fan. Who
Very
knows?
cool.
Yeah. I know I'll never actually get into it, but I do like the stories.
Well, since that's kind of what I've been talking about, that's a perfect thing to jump into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I was kind of listening to you guys while I was getting my my experiment in the oven.
Okay, so you already kind of know the truncated history of the Blood Angels and the Horus Heresy, then.
I've got a bare minimum knowledge of what the hell all of it's about with 40K.
Awesome.
Most of it's from you, that it's in depth, that is. But I do have kind of an idea of what the hell was going on. It's shall we say, worse than Nazi Germany.
Well, like I read off on that one live stream we did where it was nothing but 40K.
Yep.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war.
Yeah.
And we are literally talking about a government that is so bloated and oversized that they lose entire planets for multi-thousand-year periods of time.
Well, and you'd
And yes,
mentioned
Alan, you
Star
heard that
Wars.
correctly.
You'd mentioned the Star Wars universe, and part of that inner portion of the galaxy that's unexplorable because it's not occupied by the humans or the other civilized races, if you will.
Are you talking about the 40K one or the Star Wars one? Because
I'm
that's
talking the
true.
Star Wars one, but I mean, this is along the same kind of dysfunctional dystopian universe.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, that's true of both franchises when you get down to it.
And that's why I was mentioning it.
Because one of the more interesting things in 40K, at least to me, is the fact that, yeah, if you look at a map or at an official map of the galaxy that's occupied by humanity, officially humanity occupies the entire galaxy.
Right.
If you were to put all of the planets into one area, they would occupy one galactic arm at most.
At most, right? Not even a full quadrant of the galaxy.
Yeah. And
most
to make
people don't understand what a quadrant is when you're talking galactic space.
And to make matters even more fun for the Imperium, even those areas of territory that they do control are separated by vast tracts of space that they do not control.
Probably haven't explored fully.
Well, yeah. Oh gosh, I don't remember if it's called Wild Space in 40K or not, but it's something very similar.
And that's kind of the way they refer to it in the Star Wars universe. Well, and that even exists in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Right.
There are parts of territory occupied by the Federation and the Romulans, at the very least, that technically haven't seen a Federation or Romulan starship in decades.
Or even 100 years. Yep. They made contact with something that wasn't pleasant.
Yeah. But going back to the boys in red and gold that I'm currently working on stuff for. Well, Tommy, let me just ask you this. If you were to have a choice between working alongside a group that had anger management issues so intense that they were having flashbacks to their founder's death, or a group that was so by the book that they would make a legalistic member of the American military that's calm and collected, which one would you want to work with?
I'd probably live in a hut in the woods.
Not one of the options, buddy.
I know, it wasn't one of the choices. The structure has its place. The anger can be controlled and influenced.
Hey, Edmund, welcome to the stream. If you want to jump on, I've added a link both in Gilded and on the chat. You're welcome to pop in if you want to just come in and shoot the fecal matter for a little bit. Well, like I told Outlaw, I I was bored. I couldn't find anything on YouTube that I thought was actually worth watching tonight. And I kind of burned myself out on Zelda. So I was like, you know what? I've got this Dreadnought I need to finish anyway. Let's go ahead and just do a paint/chill stream.
Sure. No, I got you.
Which, like I've said a couple of times already, as I do more of this type of stream, I will get better at camera orientation and light levels.
Well, what
make
I can
this-
see is it's pretty good representation of what you're doing.
Well,
I'm walking back and forth.
I do appreciate that, but I also have seen a few other paint streams out there, and I know my stuff is nowhere near as good as some of the others out there.
Well, yeah. Well, and those guys have got brand new tabletops with a removable finish and all this other shit. So yeah, don't let any of that crap bother you.
Well, they've also got camera and light systems rigged where they probably have a baby studio set up in the area where they're doing it.
I'm sure they do, and they probably take 15 times as long as they should, and 15 takes, and they probably have at least 2 or 3 separate pieces that they're working on.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I've got a dozen models that are currently on the table waiting to be worked.
Yeah, but I mean, these are all identical so that it's perfect for every shot.
I'll say you're probably correct when it comes to the ones from Games Workshop or one of the companies that actually makes these miniatures.
The Japanese guys are really bad about that too.
But when it comes to just your average YouTube streamer who does this, I'm
Yeah.
going to say that's probably not happening.
They're not quite as hardcore.
Because, well, we've all seen the meme. Girl tells her boyfriend, take me somewhere expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the dairy section of the local grocery store. Sometimes it's Home Depot. Sometimes it's Lowe's. Or for 40K players, it's a Games Workshop store.
Mm-hmm. Or a really good local, which doesn't really exist.
Well,
You know,
It
you'd
depends.
think in my area they would have a couple, and they might in Seattle, but the ones that were up in where I live in Everett, the one guy that was a
No.
Magic the Gathering shop, he is closed. We've got another guy that's called Mugu Games. I've never been
Yeah.
in there, but I've heard they're kind of hostile.
well, okay, I don't really want to go too deep onto the gaming culture.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Edmund.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey guys,
I saw that you were talking about nerdy stuff, and I figured I'd sit in and listen.
you're welcome.
You're welcome to join in.
No, I think, well, I just had a little bit of some of that sweet keto ice cream because why not? And then I'm like, let me talk to you guys. It's like there's books on this 40K Warhammer stuff you got going on or something.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, there's lots of novels and all kinds of things,
Oh, yeah.
actually, not just the game.
Honestly, if you want a good read, Edmund,
Yeah.
you're Army, correct?
Navy.
Okay, my apologies.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
There-
It's fine.
My favorite app or author for the 40K series actually has his own sub-series called the Gaunt's Ghosts, and it reads just like a World War II novel.
Mm.
Is there any like audiobooks for this?
Oh, I'm sure they've got audiobooks for almost all of them.
Well, I would probably end up. I got a long road trip coming up, so I will probably end up getting an audiobook of some sort, you know.
Yeah.
And
If you're interested in trying out 40K on the fiction side,
Yeah.
I strongly recommend the novel Necropolis from God's Ghosts.
Necropolis.
Necropolis. Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to spell it the way I think it sounds, and then I'll look for it later. If I don't write it down, I'll forget. I got a little bit of drink here. Hold on.
That one's a phonetically spelled, so should be able to find it pretty easily.
Oh, and the thing is that if you just get the name partially correct, autocorrect will get you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But that particular book is the third one in the Gunks Ghost series, and it follows the titular unit as they're attempting to defend what's known as a hive city against the Chaos Traders.
Mm.
And essentially, you've got a unit of or a regiment of light infantrymen that's trying to defend a city that is the size of New York.
Good
Ooh.
luck, in other words.
Say again.
I said good luck, in other words.
Oh, let me twist the knife on you here a little bit. I did say it was a hive city, correct?
Mm-hmm. So it's scaled up and down.
When I say the size of New York, I
Mhm.
don't mean New York City.
Oh, the size of the state.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. It's fine. I like to distract myself when I'm driving because I got the trips to deal with, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, you drive for Uber, so you have reason to want to have something going in the background, so you don't have to listen to.
I can't even have audiobooks like people would think I could have in the background because I have to try to pay attention to the customer, and I don't know if listening to whatever I want to listen to is going to ever be offensive to the customer.
Yeah,
know?
that's a gray
You got a
area.
point there.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I'm listening to like a fictional story about, Space Marines like killing each other. Me, like, oh my God, what does that mean, mommy? I don't need that conversation.
No.
Yeah, you got a point there. I failed to think about that. My apologies.
No, it's okay. No, son, you're going to learn today. Listen up. You're going to learn about biology.
Well, you're going to learn about superhuman biology
Yes.
Yeah.
as it gets opened up to the atmosphere to
I
have
tried-
their vitae.
Yes. The it's all working out. Like I got back this week. This was my first week back. Last week was like I got back from my hunting trip and all that, and managed to. I didn't get the deer, but I did manage to gut the deer. So there's that. There's for
Well,
the hobby.
That's a morale victory, if nothing else.
Yeah, it was more like I couldn't see what they were pointing at, and I'm running up against time, and it's like even though I could be there as long as I want to, I was running up against the whole. The longer I'm away, the more money I'm not making, and so I just I like it, Mr. Outlaw. I like it.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, it's great.
I can shut it off. I mean, I probably ain't.
No, I do like it. I like your artwork. I mean, it's all unique and everything,
That one's AI.
Oh,
So,
that's
Outlaw,
pretty good.
have you played around with that app that I've been dropping stuff in there for you on?
That one I have to download for the mobile app, which I'm going to try to do tomorrow. It won't let me download it on the computer.
Now, I think you'll like it. You've seen some of the stuff I've put together on it.
I got it like oh, what you kind of see like in the background is kind of partially there. It's the deer skull that I got from my actual one that I hunted out,
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool. And I saw exactly how I got the thing. I'll try to keep it like not super graphic, but
We don't care.
well, basically, I almost popped its top of its head off. It was a headshot, but
Mm-hmm.
it was enough to where like it cracked its skull from like the left side all the way down through the inside of his eye socket. So when the flesh was still on, I was like, why is his eye all messed up on that side and not the other? And then get the taxidermy back, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I see how it is.
Okay, so Edmund, if you were an orc warlord or a chaos warlord, you'd be known as Edmund Skullcracker.
The one thing I know about the orcs is that whatever they believe or say is.
Yes and no. It depends on how many of them are in there and how many of them believe what's being said.
But if you believe it happens, it's true.
Okay. Outlaw, you'll like this, I think.
Yeah.
Edmund, you know the joke about orc vehicles, right?
If they paint red, they're invincible.
No. Well, you're partially correct. The red ones go faster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if they got a NOS sticker on them.
No. Okay. Orcs are kind of the comic relief faction of the Warhammer 40,000 universe.
That's not only Warhammer.
Oh,
That's also Blizzard, man.
well,
Warcraft. Yeah.
well, when I say, hang on, when I say orcs are kind of comic relief,
Mm-hmm.
they have a subspecies of greenskins known as the Gretchen, and these little guys are generally smarter than orcs, generally more dexterous than orcs, and generally weaker than orcs.
Mm-hmm. So they're goblins.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Well, a lot of times, orc weird boys known as mechs will utilize Gretchen to control artillery pieces and tank guns because they have no concept of hearing protection.
Mm-hmm.
After a little while, the Gretchen have to start using a primitive form of sign language.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's only so many placards they can carry with them and still move their artillery pieces around.
Right.
Okay.
The
They're all
joke being that their sign language is these little placards that they raise up. Shoot now. Reload. Run.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. The
There was actually a diorama that someone made of that a few years back that was absolutely hilarious.
so you have competitions at game stores and stuff doing this stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just this last weekend, I entered into a hobby competition with my Necromunda Warlocks, where I was first place in the Necromunda side of the house and second overall in the store.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I mean, I don't know a lot about the world, but winning first and second is pretty good from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Honestly,
good.
given the nature of some of the stuff that people had in there, I'm just happy I got as good as I did.
Nice. Does it include any money or is it just prestige?
It's just bragging rights.
That's good too. I need to. My hope at some point, like I got some like D&D stuff, like I make the dice bags. I got dice and stuff, but it's just, I part of me like I need to get with like a group at some point where I can learn like not necessarily a big campaign, but I want to do a bunch of little ones to kind of get the idea, get the ball rolling, and maybe eventually learn to DM and stuff like that. But
honestly, Edmund, the best thing you could do. Do you have game stores in your local area?
There should be. I think there might be a couple that I might be able to tap into or something. Like a store here and there.
Don't go in and ask if you can join a campaign. See if you can just sit in on what's called a one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I really want to do. I don't want to sit, but like I understand those things are time commitments and it always runs. I have to like just go and just make the time for it if I really want to do it. But
well, a one shot game of D&D can, depending on who's running it and how detailed they want to make it.
Yeah,
will be about an hour of character creation for every member who's participating,
Mm-hmm.
and roughly 2 to 3 hours of actual gameplay.
Okay. Well,
So-
like if I could always like. I just have to find it basically. I think there's some local places that do it because I've dropped people off that do it, and so it's not like I know they're there. I just rather we do it in person. Like
yeah,
at a store.
the easiest way to find those groups, and I'm going to go against the grain here. Don't use Facebook until you've actually met some of these people and spoken to them face to face.
Yeah.
Go on Google and just Google D&D store.
I would probably do that, and I'm not going to go on Facebook for myself. I'm because it's just I got rid of it for a reason, and I'm not going back. But
I-
it's just it's everything's better for me mentally.
I don't blame you. The only reason I still have Facebook is to communicate with old army buddies.
Oh, my finally figured out the radio behind me a little bit better, and then I
Nice.
figured out something else too. The RF emissions interfere with the camera that I'm looking at you with.
That's
So
not a
it's-
surprise.
So it goes beep, and I'm like, shit. So it makes the screen above go blank. It flashes on and off. And I'm like, well, shit. I'm probably radiating myself pretty good, but a little bit here and there.
Maybe not.
You're probably not getting radio. What's your wattage that you're broadcasting at?
Probably close to like the radio claims to be about 100 watts, but radios very rarely get up there, so it's probably in the 90s.
I don't think you're doing anything that's going to cause you any permanent damage.
No, but I think I can mess with my neighbors though.
Oh yeah, you're fucking. If they've got a landline, you're fucking with them hardcore.
Well, no, I mean even if they have like cameras like I do, everybody's got computers and shit. So like,
Mhm.
can you imagine like if my web camera's going out, their shit's going off too.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, but
not.
they got walls. The walls between you is gonna interfere with that.
Yeah,
Even if it's drywall.
well,
Hey.
to a point. But to be fair, mine's pretty close. So, and after I was able to figure out how to do everything, it was just a matter of just going through the video and going slowly through the process. Do this, do that, yada yada yada, and it works, fine. And my BS dummy load that I have actually is useful. I just have to like go to the back of the radio, unplug it, put the antenna in it, and then go from there.
Mhm.
And it's actually doing okay. The main issue is that I can't see the frequency. So
Okay, Edmund, let me ask you a crazy question. What did you do for when you were in the Navy?
I was an astronaut cowboy. No, I'm fucking. No, I was in supply.
Okay,
No, I
so you
did-
never got the opportunity. You never really played with any real hazmat type stuff then.
No, I did. I was like one of my primary secondary duties was dealing with hazmat, and
Okay.
I
Did
had
you-
to manage that bullshit for a little while. And they only cared about it when the inspectors were there, but like when everybody else was like,
Mhm.
on a day-to-day basis, and I'm like, hey, we need to do this. Oh yeah, they yapped me off. And
Did
the only way to
did you ever have to learn about how radiation works?
Yeah, I got to do like we played the games a little bit where we would walk around, pretend that we're soaking up, radio bits, and then go through like a mock decon and stuff like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you remember the inverse square law?
The what?
The inverse square law.
Inverse square log?
Inverse square law, LAW.
Inverse square law. No, I'm my math is
Essentially what it is for every certain amount of distance from the source of the radiation, you're receiving about a quarter or a quarter to half of the amount of radiation you would be getting when you're right on top of the source.
Right.
well.
So,
I mean, I have the just for FCC purposes, in case they're listening. There's their website, AARO website. You could plug in all those numbers, and I can figure out where the radiation hazards are. So that way, I know like if like where my antenna is, and then if I like, then you can figure out like how far away you need to be safe. And all that.
what I'm talking about is essentially that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Um,
like, I'm sure I'm fine. And there's old timers that are in their 90s and 70s, 80s, 90s that have been doing this stuff for years and decades. That the only thing they have a problem with is probably drinking too damn much, and that has nothing to do with
Well,
With
Well, I was actually-
radiation.
what I was actually trying to get at with this
Yeah.
was say your radio when you're transmitting is
Mhm.
giving off 10. I'm going to go with the measurement that I know, which is grays. Say it's giving off 10 micrograys irradiation at the source. If you move back 10 feet, you're receiving about, I want to say, 5 micrograys. You move back 10 feet or 10 additional feet with no shielding in between you, you're only receiving like 1.5 to 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
My math is a little fuzzy there,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'm getting the point across. You're pretty much safe. I mean,
Well,
unless
yeah.
you-
Well, I
And
mean,
remember, this is apples and oranges. Radio waves are a total different story than
yeah, it's not the same as ionizing radiation, but it can
No.
still
or
you.
microwaves.
no, and I understand that to a certain degree. Like, yes, I study the answers, but I do understand some basic things of radio.
Okay.
The point of the I don't know everything. I don't know a lot. I always push Nate to try to do more because the man is he wants to do it on a more like I want to really know it type of thing, and that's great and everything. And tell you the truth, I think he's going to pass not pass the general flying colors. He'll probably pass the extra with flying colors as well.
Oh,
But
you will.
But the thing is, it's like he's doing it like the more super correct way because he wants to build on the foundation of understanding a lot of different things. And the old timers have told me that the extra is only really good for like if you're doing contesting, or like you wanted to help out with a club at a deeper level,
Mhm.
And I kind of want to get the extra. Me and Nate talk about it here and there, but like the idea is to kind of get the group together within our little community to do it. That's why we're always pushing things like GMRS radios and the CBs or something like that, just to get people kind of interested in going with it. And
Yeah, truth be told, if I didn't live in an apartment and have to worry about them getting all butthurt about me putting up some kind of an antenna array,
yeah,
I would probably be doing the same thing. But
I have a balcony. I have a mag mount that I bought, a mag mount that my dad had, that gave me, and is right off my balcony. I have a J pole, a copper J pole for my 2 meter and 7 meter, 70 centimeter. That's literally on the, not hanging off the railing, but it's just laying against the railing, basically outside.
yeah,
You know?
the problem I've run into quite a few times at this apartment complex is I'll have stuff out on my balcony, and I'm not
Yeah.
even talking about big stuff. I'm talking about just like, say, an aquarium,
Mhm.
and I will
Sure.
get a mail from the
From the office.
company or from the company that manages my apartment complex, and be told you need to take that down or something bad will happen.
Mhm.
What happens if you put in the giant floppy penis there and say that's part of your religion and you're disrespecting me?
The thing is, with my luck, I don't want to risk it.
You might make some new friends.
The legal fees aren't worth it, and neither are the new friends. Trust me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just want you to know that if you ever start seeing a bunch of billboards coming up that say like birds aren't real on those electric boards and shit like that, I just want you to know that it's probably because of me if I won the lottery. That would be like one of the signs that you'll know.
Okay, you're joking about that, but honestly, I've seriously considered if I were to win the lottery,
Yeah.
one, keeping my name quiet as much as possible.
Oh, I would do the same thing. It's just that you wouldn't know.
Two, I would donate a good chunk of it after getting a decent house for myself and a decent place for my mother.
Yeah.
A good chunk of it would get donated to Pop. And I would put on every electronic billboard in my hometown, view redonkulous.com on YouTube and the entire link tree, Tuesdays and Thursday nights.
No,
I
Tommy.
agree with that, and I would probably do something similar. You know, depending on what I get. I mean, it's just, like the dream for the lottery would be, of course, do all the. Oh, okay. Well, you're talking within the group there. Oh, yeah. It would be to like basically take care of the family, essentially.
Well, I'm just saying, what? What the hell are you talking about, dude? I didn't put any shit up in the Bronco Squirrel Factory.
Yeah, we have a squirrel factory in our works, people. So get used to it.
No,
And,
no. He's saying the artwork that I put up was great, and I'm like, what? I didn't put up any artwork.
Yeah, you did.
I'm talking about mine. No,
Well-
I'm talking about mine.
Oh, yours. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was like, what? I didn't fucking put up anything.
Well,
Mine
guys,
would have been all Velma and fucking Daphne, you know?
Oh, that's a good idea. I want to see what the AI would do with Velma and Daphne.
Well, let me look at the.
Okay.
Don't
No,
just-
those are nice, dude. I like those.
Okay,
Well,
let's
that's on
see.
the Rhino side, right? Yeah, that's. The problem.
Yeah, it's on Rhino's side.
Okay, let's see what would happen. Velma and
Where's
Daphne.
all the chibi Hooter girls, man?
What the hell, man? That's fucking awesome. Oh my god.
Where's the chibi ones?
Yeah,
You like
you pervert.
No,
You
I,
like my little chibi ones.
what the hell? This AI is really screwy.
Some of this shit is like total freaking 1970s
Yeah,
Dallas cheerleaders porn.
Yeah,
This is basically one step below the Rule 34 shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've noticed with the AI artwork apps that I've got like 3 or 4 of them that I use to generate my thumbnails. The only consistency with them is how inconsistent they are.
Yeah.
you want to see the chibi, right, Tommy?
Yeah, show it to us.
Okay.
Wow, some of this is really good, actually.
It you have to play around with the AI wording
Oh, yeah. Big
to get
time.
it to work.
Oh my god, they misspelled the words and everything.
I saved some of them because it said Hotters instead of Hooters.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah.
No, I know
Oh,
it's just
on the
fascinating
TV.
to look at what
Here she
I
is.
had an AI on the desktop for like 30 minutes and I deleted it because I couldn't figure out how to save the pictures from it. You know?
Honestly, if you have a
You like-
smartphone,
Oh, yeah, we've seen that one. That one's a good
You like my little chibi?
one.
Little chibi.
You know, the worst part is most people don't even understand what chibi are.
What is chibi?
But no, those pictures with the that looks like the 1980s, that's on purpose because I wanted a 1980s like poster.
Yeah, you were looking for the Miami Vice, and then that one is definitely 1970s Dallas cheerleaders.
well,
Jesus
you guys have
Christ.
seen those.
Debbie
you guys
does Dallas, man.
You guys have seen those things I've been posting in the Bronto Squirrel Factory, where it's been like bursts of 4 of them put in at the same time. Would you
I think
believe
so.
that every time I do those with the Cutmate app, it's the exact same prompt that I'm using each time, just running it through a different style?
Huh,
Mm.
nice. Okay, so
I'm
you've seen
Honestly, the one I like using the most, just because it gives you such weird and humorous results, is Disneyfying the thing.
God. Or Pixar in them. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so-
seeing yours, man.
Okay, so he
Actually,
likes
yours are
that.
really nice too.
Yeah, the ones Mando does, I like those. I need to figure
Mhm.
out how to get that downloaded so I can do it.
Well, the app itself is free, at least on the Android devices, but it
Yeah.
does have a paid membership where you can do unlimited without having to watch ads.
Right.
Right, and that's to pay for the time on the cloud server.
Yep.
Tommy, I've got this one. This is a Andrea collab with a chibi in it.
God.
If you, well, I mean, you
By
wanted
the
to
way,
see-
Edmund asked what a chibi is. A chibi is I wouldn't call it childlike because they're not anatomically correct.
There are
Okay.
But they are
miniaturized.
a very diminutive representation of a character, and they have mittens. So they've got a thumb and a mitten.
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly, something that I consider to be a cursed creation is anytime they chibi a Warhammer 40K character.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And those
Well,
are
and
definitely cursed.
it was a trope with the Japanese when they started using the chibi because they used it as comic relief.
Mm-hmm.
They put this little character up in the corner that was pissed off and freaking out, and it was very diminutive, and it usually was childlike in its tantrum.
Honestly, one of the funniest uses of a chibi I've ever seen is in a Japanese only manga for the
Mm.
Transformers line,
Yeah,
where at the very end or at the very back of each issue, they used to have essentially an ask the editor
hmm
various questions,
right.
and they would have a chibi-fied version of one of the characters in there apparently answering.
Right.
The chibi Megatron they did was absolutely hilarious.
hmm And that's where you will see the chibi used in Japanese art.
Mm-hmm.
The
Tommy.
Americans have bastardized it.
Well, let's just be honest here. Americans bastardize everything.
Well, that's true.
Pretty much. They take it and we just do whatever we want with it, you know?
Pervertize it.
There you go,
Well,
Tommy.
I'm going to get back to the screen. I'm getting my casserole that I've experimented with. See if it's
Well,
gonna be
here in the
worth
States, we like
eating.
to. Here in the States, one of two things happens with everything. We either make it super mature in a almost X-rated fashion,
Yeah, pornographic version,
Or we-
right?
or we turn it into something hyper violent.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm
What do you think of
Hey, Jackal, how you doing?
hello everybody.
My feet
Hey.
hurt and I'm tired.
We care about you.
Well,
And of course, he's got the dick nose going on. Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen that one. That one's a good one.
Yeah.
That one?
Uh-huh.
just make sure it's not something that's
Well,
gonna
maybe
get-
I haven't seen it. I don't know that, but it looks similar to a
Jackal,
couple of your
the,
others.
the stream is live on YouTube, so if it's something that's going to get my channel zapped, I'm going to ask that you take it and switch to something else.
It's not. It literally just looks like Tommy if he was Pinocchio in real life.
Yeah, there's no penis head on it or anything. So
Okay, just making sure.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I can swap mine. I don't have to put mine on full.
Oh, I'm just I had to look at my
No,
stuff here. I was looking at, like, I have all this crypto that I'm trying to do, and I did manage to find crypto that works for me, you know. And so what I'm trying to do later on is eventually do that thing where, like, I put a little bit each month from, like, maybe once a month from the different cryptos and dump it into, like, staking it into Ethereum. And that'll be the goal for next year, just to stake everything, a lot of what I make, but still keep some of those coins, a lot of those coins on the back burner in case it goes up.
Do
You
you
know?
have an exchange already set up?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's a little bit, it's a little convoluted, but I've actually made my money back on one of the miners, and that miner was I ended up having to get a little bit of a refund in another one, but still, like, that it paid for that, and that was nearly, like, well over $400 for that, and that's already been paid for. And still, there's more in the crypto account, so I cashed out more than what it was, just so that, and then I did the responsible thing and originally put it back into the into my savings, because I figured this would be the time to do it, because I got my car this year, and that should help soak in, like, it'll make, like, the overall income go up, but because I should have good deductions, it should make it relatively mute. You know what I mean? as far as like the taxes go, you know?
I'm thinking of doing the same thing. I've already got an exchange set up, and I have some software that adds a level of bottage to it, so it does the auto trading for me.
I saw some of that stuff. It's just I don't know. A lot of it seems really confusing, and for me, it's like I know it's understandable to the people that know it, but like if I can't really understand it or grasp it in my mind, I don't really mess with it because I don't want to lose money. I already lost a little bit of money trying to move shit from one place to another that didn't take it, and that shit's gone in the ether of nothingness. You know,
You
And
You-
there
have
ain't-
to be
guys are-
careful with
you guys
that.
are speaking complete and total Greek to me. I'm going to be completely honest.
All right,
No.
let's talk about how you would fix a bullet hole in somebody's intestines.
well,
Not
what
on,
you would do,
not
what
on
you would do is you put your finger in it.
not
What
live
we
on YouTube.
No, what you do,
Technically, it would be medical education, technically, so
Well,
they can't sting you for
The,
that.
the problem is with the way YouTube does things, they would label it as medical misinformation.
No, let's not do this.
So,
no, let's not do that. Let's not be silly.
so we are not going to go there tonight.
Yes. We were not going to get Mr. Mando's channel demonetized and kicked off the.
Well, my channel is not monetized anyway, but I
Okay.
don't want it to get zapped completely because this particular Poverty Yards does not go to Rumble.
Yeah, I have like my channel stuff is like I'm trying to get into the games, but like it's just hard for me to be in the mood to play games and stream at the same time. You know, it's like I'd much rather talk to you guys than try to do that. You know. And-
That's kind of why I'm just doing a quote unquote chill stream this evening.
Yeah.
Because there's times when it's good to go ahead and go into our little private backstage area and just shoot the whatever.
Yeah.
But I figure tonight, what the heck? May as
Yeah.
well hang out with people, and if anyone wants to jump in and join, they can. If they want to jump out, they can. I don't care.
Hold on, I'm gonna see if anybody else is talking. No.
No.
So
As
Well,
of
but I
right
have-
now, there's still an open slot available. We've got maybe 4 people watching. No one's
Yeah.
engaging in the chat, which kind of sad, but it is what it is.
well, that's how I feel every time I stream on Twitch and everything. It's just like if I'm lucky, I might have a rando come by and look, you know, and comment. And I think one of our guys in the community, he came by and talked with me for like an hour in the chat, and another guy he actually talked with. I managed to get the Twitch's StreamYard equivalent on, and I can only get the voice going, but that seemed to be working just fine, you know. But it's like the problem is I have no consistency with what I do, and I don't want to, you know, do it, you know, just to do it. Like I make money doing the driving gig, and if I have time, I'll do streaming. If not, whatever, you know.
Well, yeah, and honestly, for me, it's a Monday night in November.
Yeah.
You guys already know from the Gilded, I hate the month of November.
Oh, is it because
Let's
because
not say it openly.
no, not to say it openly, but some people have a certain belief about things, and it's
No,
like
for me, it's just bad memories.
sorry to hear that. Some people take it more seriously than others. Some people take it as a meme. It doesn't mean anything unless it means something to you. You know, that's how I
Yeah,
feel about
and
that.
it's entirely possible that on Thanksgiving night, even though I know there's probably going to be no one else on, I may do another one of these painting / chill streams where I'm working on a rhino pattern APC because that is actually the night that I have the hardest time any day of the year.
I usually ignore the holidays anymore because, you know, I'm away from my family. I can, not to go into terrible detail, but like I can leave my family and leave everything behind to be with somebody, and yet there's no thought to how I was isolated, and essentially, you know, how that was played out, and so now I'm in a process of trying to, let's just say, fix that, as best I can, and it's just going to take a
You know-
minute to do.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. That sounds a lot like some of the issues that I'm dealing with certain members of my family.
Except I like
So-
my family.
Say again.
I like the members of my family.
Well, what I was gonna say is, for the longest time, me and certain members of my family did not communicate very well with each
Yeah.
other.
That sucks.
And before the illness that shall not be named, I
Oh.
was doing quite a bit to try to patch things up with certain members of them. And after that occurred, one of those individuals made some comments that I have yet to forgive him for.
Okay. So like,
Fortunately, I will be seeing him on Thursday. So that's going to be a very uncomfortable visit with my relatives.
well, hopefully it goes well and you guys can be amicable at least.
Well,
If
I'm-
not, slash his fucking tires.
I got really good while on active duty at hiding how I really feel about certain things and certain people.
You have to. It's the only way to survive. You know?
Mhm. So
I mean,
Um,
you got like the leadership that you get is what you get, and you have to
yeah,
work
and
with.
in the case of my family members, unless they ask me a direct question that I have no way to weasel word my way out of, I'm just going to be very vague and very polite when I answer questions.
Yeah. Towards the end of my career in the Navy, that wasn't so much the case with me. E7s and above really don't like it when you talk back to them.
Oh no, that's across the entire branch, or every branch that I've heard of.
Yeah, I mean, but it just finally, like, I reached fully into what Pop would say bullshit saturation, and just I was done with it. I didn't care, whatever, Yeah, I spent a little bit of time in the bad boy camp, but that's just like within the service. That's just like inner company discipline type thing, and they try to, fuck me over, but I got 100% of my educational benefits. I got my rating from the VA. Won't discuss it necessarily live. I'll talk privately if you're actually interested. And then it works out well for me,
Oh yeah,
And-
well, and the thing is, information like that's entirely up to you if you want to share it or not. I'm not going to go prying into it.
No. The thing is, so you're a military member. You understand the deal of what all that means.
Oh yeah,
And so the thing is, it's like I'll be one of those guys that rarely will speak actually good of the VA. The VA is actually the reason why I talk about it is because it's fresh on my mind, because I went to an appointment today and had to get something done. Nothing big. Everything's good. Should be good. Unofficially good, but not officially official. But everything.
well, gentlemen, you want
Edmund, it's good. It's good, buddy.
to see what the Daredeo is currently looking like?
Yeah. What's what you got look like? Because it looks like Iron Man from here with rocket boosters,
Missile launchers.
missile launchers. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
Let's
so-
just say
I'm gonna walk up close to the camera. It looks
the
good.
the AI generator reminds me of a fever dream. What
Yeah,
you would see in your dreams.
sometimes you'll punch something in and it's like it draws it from memory.
Yeah, it literally looks like things that I've seen in my dreams. You type in Daphne from oh my god. Oh my god.
Has
Did
she
you
been
hire-
over the hood,
I am not turned on by what I see. No.
or is just
I don't-
Scooby doing her?
It is
Oh,
It's disturbing.
God.
Just
It's
say-
everything bad. It's everything bad. We know.
It's literally like
Speaking
they
of
all,
AI,
it's like they merged all of the Scooby characters into one.
Oh,
oh
God.
no.
So it's in
Some of them
Thing
have
or in
Daphne.
It.
Some
I'm
of them
gonna
have
step away
Daphne
from-
wearing Fred's clothes.
Wait,
One of them has
I'm gonna step.
one
I'm
of
gonna
them
step away
has
for a
a
couple of
mystery
minutes.
machine.
I'm gonna step away for a
what?
couple minutes to go grab a couple items. I will be right back. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves. Just don't get me nuked.
One of them has the mystery machine looking like it got stepped on by Daph. I don't know.
I got the what was it? The snatch lice thing, whatever that Pop said last time. I think it was like in the last stream that they had.
A giant Daphne destroying the city, throwing a mystery machine at someone is in one of
God.
them.
Why are you what are you using as a helling prompt?
I just typed in Daphne from Scooby Doo. And it's giving me like all different kinds of like superhero scenarios.
That's hilarious.
I don't.
That's just
There's
just
one-
weird, man. It's just
There's
weird.
one full set of her with just giant head coming out of the ground. I don't get it, but I don't understand.
Maybe we don't have to understand. Wait a minute. I think my printer's still on. Let me go check on that. This is where
You gotta go turn that printer off, man.
I use the AI generator for
Hold on, I didn't-
outlaw fun time, basically.
My stupid recipe
I,
didn't
I think
print.
you
Outlaw
may need
fun
to
time.
stop.
I don't even want to know when you say it that way.
My recipe didn't print out. I got to get it printed out.
Let's just say some of it's good.
There better me not be a dildo involved.
No. Some of it's good, but some of it's just downright fever dreamish, and I don't know what to think.
Mm. I would think you're thinking what that squirrel's thinking on my avatar. Get me out of here.
I mean, it's why not type in things you'd like to see, and sometimes the generator gives you it, and sometimes it doesn't.
I'm gonna try to see if I can. Well, what I'll do is not this. This will probably not print out, but it's. I'll post it in the recipe side of things. It's a. Where is it? Red Pill Recipes here. It's
By the way, I was just kidding. I was totally just kidding. Maybe.
Okay, I just got back and I just heard you go. I was just kidding. What'd I miss?
he was talking about all the crazy stuff that he's seen.
He
in
fucked
AI.
up. It was Outlaw. It was Outlaw's fault.
Yeah. It was-
Jesus Christ. Jackal, you fucking little turncoat.
Yeah, I turned my coat inside out. And you know what it says on the back? It says "fuck you."
I will definitely look at the stream later and see exactly what I missed.
It was nothing bad. It's just Jackal being Jackal now.
The,
Okay.
I was
And
thinking
he
No,
had
I was-
nothing
I
to
was
do
just-
with it.
No, I was just kidding with the guys. I was talking about using the AI for silly shit. But
Well,
Yeah, I
your
was just
kidding
joking.
sucks as much as your foot does.
Oh,
what the, this thing
wait,
doesn't-
what?
This thing is like
You that one went over my head.
no this stupid. The thing cuts it off.
not you,
print,
Edmund.
No, the print feature on this recipe cuts it off, where I can't see everything.
Oh, are you using one of the commercial ones on an app or on a web page?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do that to you.
Well, I have to do it this way. Where I have to print from the screen, not from like the print thing, because I want to
Okay,
see.
you got Windows 10?
No, I mean I got it worked out here. I got something here. It should work out just fine.
No, what I'm saying is if you have Windows 10, you can screen capture the screen with the snip tool and you can print the snip tool.
Yeah, you just hit print screen.
Well, you don't even have to do that. You can just type in snip in the search and then do a new, and then
I got
you
it.
select what you want to print.
Okay, that's not gonna work.
I use it all the time at work. That's the snip tool is really good.
Yeah, a snipping tool can be quite helpful,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're dealing with people who don't want to accept what you're telling them.
Right.
Or if somebody does something really weird or potentially compromising on screen.
Or you're using something like some of these web pages, which have their weird applets built into them that won't allow you to print, like Edmund is running into.
Uh, image.
Well, what I was getting at
I'll figure it
a
out.
second ago, and
I'll figure it.
Tommy, you'll probably like this.
Hmm.
When I have to deal with certain tasks at my workplace,
Mm-hmm.
some of the people who generate those tasks don't always know how to push the buttons properly.
Oh, none of
And
them
so
do.
they'll send me the tasks. Well, they'll send me the tasks saying, okay, we're ready for you to do your part. I'll go into the system that they want me to use for it, and it'll give me a record not found.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, are you sure it's ready to work? Yes, it's ready to work. Do your task. Why hasn't it been done yet?
I think I got it. I had to set the margins on the printer settings. I think it'll work this time. But what it is, it's like if you look at the Red Pill recipes, it's an almond flour bread that I want to make, and
Yeah.
and so it's because I want to eat things like tuna fish sandwiches and shit, and I want to eat like maybe I want to make an almond flour grilled cheese sandwich, I don't know.
Sounds good, actually.
Yeah, I mean I do pretty good. Did you see the hold on, I'm just walking around like a fucking idiot. I got the actually I want to look at the print. This is the shit I do at night when I'm by myself.
Go ahead, Mando.
Oh, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry about that, man.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
it.
Edmund's a little distracting.
No, I got it. It's all good. I'm sorry.
Hey, I am not upset about anything as long as when I wake up in the morning and look or do a check on this channel, as long as it doesn't give me some message saying your channel no longer exists because you violated terms of service. I don't care.
Yeah.
No, but
I don't know what would have.
it came out better. I just had to set the margins and it gives me all the information I want. So there you go. I'm trying to follow some advice of hey, print out the recipes and actually that you use, print it out and actually have a recipe book. And my recipes consist of shit like this. And
I do a lot of that too, Edmund, and you're not wrong.
Did you see the Oregon meat that I posted in the
I did.
What did you think of that, man?
I would have done the heart different. I would have boiled the shit out of it and then probably ground it into a spread.
I think it would be better to make I think you're right. I think I would like it better in a paste and mix it with other things.
Do like a
So,
pate with it.
Yeah,
the other thing is, did you cut out all of the silver skin in the heart?
As best I could. But,
Okay, so you did remove it as best you could. You're fine. Yeah,
and-
that's the one that turns all people off a heart, is they don't cut the silver skin out of it.
Well, the thing is, it's I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but it was fine. I mean, I ate it. It's not my first choice of meat, but I ate it because it was healthy,
It is.
And the thing is, it's it was actually I'm glad I did it, and maybe I'll do it differently. Maybe a pate next time, like a food processor with maybe kind of make my own messed up version of a meatloaf, and do it that way.
If you mince it with a food processor and then run it through a grinder,
Yeah.
a sausage grinder, and you can add in a little bit of extra other stuff like a little bit of pork. You want to get the fat in there because that's what gives you the texture. So what I would suggest is take that heart, run it through that grinder with bacon or pork
Tommy,
belly.
have a heart.
What?
Oh man, I'll tell you
well,
that's some good eating right there. Make
Well,
a
the thing is-
sausage out of it.
Well, the thing is, it's like I'm not objecting to that. It's just that I opted just to basically cook it and with my limited skills, and
Sure.
I ate it, and it was fine. It sat in my stomach like a rock. It was fine. I live by myself. I don't have to worry about gassing anybody out of my apartment. Me.
I wouldn't care anyway, dude. Fuck
No,
them.
Well, I pay to live here, so like whatever. But like the only real thing is that the messed up thing is that the manager can essentially come in the apartment whenever they want to look at everything.
They have to give you warning,
Yeah, generally 24-hour notice at a minimum.
and that's
Well-
only for emergencies.
Well, the only other time they came in, it was the manager, and he was verifying if work was done in the apartment. What looked like might happen is that somebody said that they completed work in my apartment when they didn't.
Well, that's a different story. That's an outlier.
Yeah. So like, for the most part, they're like, as long as you pay for shit, you're fine. There's an issue with the stucco coming down in the bedroom, and I just don't feel like talking to them about it because I really don't want to move the bed to deal with it.
Actually, you need to.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Otherwise,
You need
you're
to protect yourself.
questionable.
They're
Yeah.
gonna blame you if you
Well, it's on the-
don't.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it another time.
Well, it doesn't have to happen tonight.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it another time. But the thing is, it's like I'll get it done. It's just maybe I've been stalling on that for a little bit.
Hey guys, hang on one second, Edmund.
What's that?
Like you guys input on something. I'm gonna go full screen for just a moment.
Mhm.
Find the right control. What you're seeing here is part of a decal sheet
How do you?
for this right kneecap here. There's one or two decals I'm thinking about putting on here. I'd like you guys' thoughts. Either one of these skulls with the blood drops coming off, or one of these filigreed heavy weapons insignias. Which
Yeah.
you think would fit better?
The
Hmm.
second. Second.
Yeah,
one.
heavy
Both of 'em.
weapons.
Yeah,
The-
Both of
second.
them don't show up very well in the picture either.
Yeah,
Well, the-
unfortunately.
I think the gold would come up better on the darker background.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree
go
with
with the
that.
gold heavy weapons symbol.
Yep.
Well, it's red on one side of the shield, gold on the other side. I'm gonna go with the black heavy weapon filigree.
All right.
Yeah.
That will work.
That reminds me, I need to start making up the decals for some of my units in my fantasy nonsense.
I have
Yeah. Most of my heresy era stuff, I haven't done the decaling and unit markings, but this one I'm wanting to get a little bit closer to being 100% finished.
So, like, how much of this stuff do you have? It seems like you have quite a bit of all this stuff here.
Edmund, I'll be honest with you, I've got probably more than I really should.
Okay, so a good healthy amount. Gotcha.
Because here's the thing. This is my stress relief. This is my anger management.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, but that's you. That's what you enjoy. That's what you like. know?
And the thing is, I started doing this. I started the wargaming hobby before I joined active duty. And there's the decal on the kneecap currently.
Full screen it up, man.
I'm working on that right now.
Let's take a look.
The glare is gonna kind of screw with it a bit.
Yeah. No,
it's fine.
that-
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
no, I like it. I like it.
But no, Edmund, I've been doing miniature war games of one flavor or another since the early 2000s,
Nice.
and
Okay.
and this is my way of relaxing, resetting myself, and trying not to go into essentially a black rage of my own.
I usually do that through food.
Yeah, you need to redirect that one.
Yeah, I know. I've actually been doing pretty good, buddy. As of this morning,
I've seen it. You look better.
yeah, I feel better. Like I'm still within calories. I know I shouldn't have probably eaten the ice cream late at night, but like, I'm like, I'm within calories. I'm gonna do it, whatever.
Mhm.
And I'll be up anyway. So whatever. And I don't necessarily always do that. And I went to the store specifically to get more healthier items, And I like to think I'm shopping better. For God's sake, I got a pretty good amount of food. I think I'm doing pretty decent. Like I think one of the things I'm gonna make for Thanksgiving for myself is I'm gonna actually make a normal size recipe and make myself the keto cheesecake.
Mm.
And I'm gonna have to bake it in a pan just in case I don't spill it out because I'm gonna do a crustless cheesecake, keto cheesecake, and the only thing in there that would be like that in the cheesecake that's like not keto is the sugar. So if I replace it with the monk fruit as a substitute, I should have a fairly keto situation there.
Quick
you got?
interruption, guys.
No, it's good.
That decal that I just applied, the skull and filigree
Yeah,
on the fixed mount, should I go ahead and do it on the other side as well? Or does that look decent like it is?
I would say on the other side as well.
Well, it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to have a unit?
Well,
Because that is
that's just it. This guy is gonna be a one-off model for this particular Legion. I will
Okay.
eventually pick up another copy of the model, but it's gonna be that one will be used for my Dark Angels.
so the reason I bring that up is do you want a unit insignia on one and then a Legion insignia on the other?
Well, that's the thing. The insignia that I just showed you is essentially both a unit and Legion insignia.
Okay. So then I would stay with one.
Alrighty.
All right.
Yeah,
don't
the
know
only
yet.
reason to do it on the other would be if it was a special purpose or, special unit type thing. Otherwise, you muddy it up. You know what I'm saying?
And
Less is more.
Honestly-
Less is more. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
honestly, with the design of this guy, I think I've applied enough decals to it because he's got the Legion markings right here on the side of his missile battery.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some honorifics on the shin pad, well, thigh pads, whatever the heck those are supposed to be. The knee pad, and then the side armor I was going to do something with, but none of the decals really look like they'll fit properly. And then that right there. So I think that's going to be adequate.
I'd run with it.
Nice.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go ahead and get this guy reassembled.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see if I can get the lights to actually work properly, because I did use some of my special effect paints on this guy. Actually, I used several different special effect paints on this guy. You can't really tell on the camera, but the front hull armor, the armor on the top of the legs and on the inside of the legs, and the armor on top of the missile pods themselves are all color shift paints.
Mm.
So as you change the angle that the light's at, it's going to change the hue ever so slightly.
Right. They're kind of a pearlescent effect.
And the whole idea is, since this guy has some kind of a weird energy field defense system, that's supposed to highlight the fact that, yeah, he's got an energy or got something there that isn't normally available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see how this works.
Just checking something here. The little side project.
Because what I'm doing is I'm killing the primary lights. And is the fluorescent actually coming through on you guys'
Yes,
end?
it is.
Let me see.
Yeah, it is.
The thing has lights on it?
No, that's
No.
fluorescent paint under a UV light.
Yeah, it's showing up, man.
Yeah, I
great.
like that.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that Thunderhawk that I did the Birth of a Monster with
Yeah.
has a bunch of fluorescent paints on the interior of its cockpit and on the troop bay. But this has been going for... Hey, St. Louis Arch, thank you for joining in on the stream this evening.
Yo.
But I'm thinking it's been about 2 hours, so now's a pretty good time to go ahead and kill it for the night.
Okay, that's up to you, man.
Yeah, it looks
I'm going
good.
to bring that back to the other layout. So, gentlemen, do you want to do some final thoughts, even though this really wasn't anything that actually had any kind of a topic to it? Or do you want to just go ahead and give an evening goodbye and maybe a Thanksgiving wish to everyone?
Well, I'll say my experiment turned out pretty good. Now I got to put it in a bowl and put it in the fridge.
Outstanding.
Sweet.
By the way, it was and you guys will call me faggot for this, but it was a frittata, potatoes, pepperoni, and Spam
Ooh,
with vegetable soup mix that was freeze dried.
that actually sounds pretty darn good.
It
It sounds-
actually was really good.
I think you did good.
And I did the smart thing. I boiled the Spam to get the salt out of it. If you
That's
guys,
actually
yeah, if you've never done it, it takes the salt and the fat out of it. It is excellent to do it that way. You can slice it or you can keep it whole, but you don't
Yeah.
need to boil it. Just put it in hot water and let that shit leach out.
For how long?
Just get a scum on the top of it, a white foam. It doesn't have to roll boil or anything, just a white scum. That's all
Yeah.
the salt and fat.
Oh, okay.
oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
tend to
so
like I tend to like it all, but anyway, I'm sorry, Mr. Mando.
I'm sorry I cut you off. I forgot to mention. In case you all are interested, I do something that a lot of hobbyists in the 40K community consider to be darn near a low-level heresy. I do the major paint work on the sprue.
Oh, fuck. Anybody in their right mind will do that.
Why is that a low-key heresy?
Well, there's individuals who think the only way to properly do one of these models is to paint them once they've been fully assembled.
Okay,
You
those
see the
people are
level of
stupid.
detail- Well, you see the level of detail on this guy.
Mhm.
I would not have been able to get more than a third of it if I had painted after assembly.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing, because I also do modeling kind of like you do,
Mhm.
except mine is more in the Hot Wheels and train scale stuff, dioramas. A modeler will do it however they feel comfortable,
Yep.
and it shouldn't matter your technique. The technique is the cool part. That's what
Mhm.
separates you from everybody else. That's what makes you unique.
Mhm.
And
And
not everybody's going to have the same approach to making stuff.
Yep.
the thing is, Outlaw, I use a modified layering technique for my paint work.
Mm-hmm.
That's
When
cool.
when this guy gets completely finished, there will be some weathering done on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I don't use shade paints, and I don't. Well, I very rarely use shade paints, and I don't dry brush.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Oh,
Sweet.
there are a lot of 40K players and hobbyists who look at my finished model or finished models and then look at my technique and are like, how the heck do you get that from that?
Mm-hmm.
Magic.
It's just like the car community. You know, I get so sick of people saying, "Oh, well, Ford sucker. Oh, Chevy sucker.
Oh.
This sucks or that sucks." It's like, shut up.
The only
Oh,
one
yeah.
I'll bitch about are Mopar products, and that's because the quality is such shit. That's the only reason I will fucking bitch about them. I love the cars, but I hate their fucking quality.
Oh yeah, I get you there.
Yeah, I know.
And
Well-
Ford has gotten just as bad. Chevy's always been bad. You know, I won't own a Chevy ever again because all of the two that I have owned have blown the motors. Fuck
Hey.
those cocksuckers.
Tommy, I'm
You're
gonna be
either-
blunt. I'm gonna be blunt with you. After the way my Ford Focus has been behaving in the last 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
I'm debating never owning a Ford again.
Yeah. Well, the new Fords are garbage, man. I'm used to old 60s and 70s Fords. I've got a 68 F100, man. I have the truck.
My mom for a while had, I think it was an '87 LTD,
Uh-huh.
and that thing was built like a bloody tank.
Oh, yeah. And that was after they got away from that stupid variable Venturi carburetor that was so dumb in the 80s.
Oh.
Well, and the thing is, one of the earliest cars that my family had that I actually remember was one of the first edition Ford Escorts.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
that-
was an interference engine.
Well, the thing
Ugh.
is, that car actually ran really well.
Oh, yeah, they do. As long as you don't lose a timing belt and scatter the head.
Well, the problem was it threw a rod.
Oh, that's even worse.
Mm,
And
Wow.
I've heard different stories as to why that happened, but allegedly it was because one of the drivers, either my mom or my dad, never changed the oil the way they were supposed to.
That would be the most likely. It sludged up the oil galleys and it wasn't getting,
Yeah, but
oil to where it needed to be.
the story changed depending on who was telling it. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I'm just like, okay, so long story short, the car wasn't properly maintained, so it went pop. All I need to know.
Yep. Really, that's all you do need to know. Shit. I've owned two Toyotas. Both of them were over 325,000 miles.
Now,
I had my Kia, the one Kia, for almost 350,000.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
good for a Kia. That's really good.
I just have a feeling that when I do finally get in the market to buy a new vehicle again, I'm just going to end up going to get a used vehicle and try to find something that's pre 2010
You're gonna have to probably get a freaking electric car the way everybody's.
over my dead
Well,
body.
fuck that. Those
No.
things, they
Oh,
are
they do,
dying.
I will not buy an electric, and I will not buy a truck.
Well, the
No.
thing is, it's like I'm in the business where I have to consider the point of like, if they force me into a vehicle, like an electric vehicle to continue driving, then I may end up having to go private to stay in business, because everybody's all about, getting the wrong on
Well,
electric and hybrid. And the thing is like no one seems to understand that it's not as environmentally friendly as you would assume it to be on the surface.
let's not go any further on that on an open stream because
No. No, I'm
YouTube has been wacky about some of the stuff they've been being
Mhm.
involved on.
Yeah, let's drop this conversation right now.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to.
It's all good, man. You're not
Oh,
doing
yeah.
anything wrong.
No, you're not doing anything wrong. I'm just, unlike some of the folks in our community, I'm a little overprotective of this channel because one, it's brand flipping new. Well,
Yeah.
pretty much brand flipping new. And two, I'm still learning what I can get away with and what I can't get away with.
Mhm.
Well, I mean that's why when I was doing the thing that I'm doing, that's why I don't talk about. I only talk like this with you guys and stuff like that, and there's just a certain way I conduct myself, and I realize that it's not like everybody's cup of tea, you know,
Oh yeah.
and
Well,
it's all that stuff, you know.
because it's a 50-50 as to whether or not I'll start something like this going on Thursday night. Everyone want to give a holiday wishes before we can it?
Well, I wish everyone well for sure.
I hope everybody gets good food to eat and spends time with the people they care about.
Oh, I'm by myself, and I will definitely cook myself a good dinner.
Absolutely. I'll be doing a Thanksgiving stream for the guys Wednesday, and that'll be for the Red Pill MGTOW community, the guys who probably don't have anyone to spend it with this Thanksgiving, or maybe for whatever reason your family, you're not on speaking terms and you're going to spend it by yourself this year. So if you want to come on out, tell us, come on stream, tell us what you're thankful for, and yeah, enjoy a good holiday, guys.
Okay.
Jackal, have you got anything you'd like to add to these sentiments?
Don't get sucked into just the premise or the glam and the glitter of the holidays. Genuinely try to enjoy yourself. Try to cherish those that you find important. Your family, close friends that don't have family to hang out with, those that are neglected by their own families. Just make sure that you remember, or just find a way to remind yourself that the holidays are not like the Hallmark movies. It's not all about just getting the expensive gifts, spending money, getting the perfect dinner and all the decorations, all the hustle and bustle of Black Friday sales and shit. Just enjoy the holiday because it's a time to spend with others that you don't normally get to interact with. Because that's what it's actually about. Not about the materialistic components of the holiday. It's not about just trying to feign enjoying time with family. Actually try to enjoy it. Because when you do that, you're actually making a good opportunity to mend damaged relationships with those that you should probably cherish a little bit more, because when the day comes that they won't be around anymore, you're going to realize just how much you miss them. Unfortunately, for most folks, they don't realize this until it is too late. Just like anything else, enjoy it while you have it, because when it's gone, buddy. You're not getting it back.
Kind of said it better myself, Jackal.
Agreed.
Yep.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go ahead and end the stream. Tomorrow night, I'm reasonably sure Terrence Pop's going to be doing Redonkulous.com.
Yep.
At, it's what, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central.
Yes.
There's a 50-50 that I might go ahead and do a live stream Thursday evening, maybe starting around the same time I started this one. I don't know yet. And I am planning on Saturday to go ahead and do my usual stream, probably doing travel horror stories, since Thanksgiving is the busiest travel holiday of the calendar year. May as well do some stories about trips that went right by accident or wrong intentionally.
Oh, I got a good one.
I'm sure we've all got a few of those.
Yeah. Mine involves San Francisco.
Well, on that note, everyone, I hope you all have a nice, happy Thanksgiving holiday, a nice, safe weekend. And if you go out on Black Friday, for God's sake, don't fight over a toaster. So, everyone, have a good one.